Getting set for football this weekend. Starts off on Friday night, goes through to Saturday, and we now have the Pigskin Preview. Tony Anzetti and Larry Kotler in studio. Jason,
happy to have them.
Give us the skinny on what is going on. So, of course, we had a couple of high school teams in studio with us past 2 days. Tony, getting set for football tonight.
Yeah, DCG team that was just in. They're ranked number 5 in my latest 3A rankings that we have coming out. They're one of the better teams in Class 3A, and definitely a team to watch for once the playoffs get started, and probably one of the better districts when it comes to 3A. So you see some of the districts in high school football, some of these teams, once they get to district play, the competition level may drop off quite a bit. So they're not really making that stepping stone, getting prepared for the big games down the stretch when they get to the playoffs. But Dallas Center Grinds won't have that problem in their district because of the teams like Glenwood and Harlan, and tonight against Winterset. So they'll be tested. And
is it going to be a good game in Winterset tonight, you think?
Like Coach Heitland said, Winterset's always physical. They'll try to muddy it up a little bit and ground control it and stuff like that, and try to keep it close. But DCG, Claver kid is one of the special athletes. You talk about the Clayburg kid over at Pella, the top-ranked team in 3A. Claver's one of those guys too who can, at the quarterback spot, that can run and throw the football, and he's also good on the other side of the football if he has to. But he's too many dimensions to the kid, so hard to stop. You got to decide which way you want him to be. You want him to run the football, or you want to force him to throw the football. So we'll see what Winterset can do to adjust to control that part of the football game. But should be a good game tonight for a while, and I think DCG is probably a little bit better, but Winterset always plays pretty physical. But my rankings last week, none of the top teams in the state lost. Everybody stayed the same. Dowling top ranked in Class 4A, Pella in 3A, Albia in Class 2A and 1A, Iowa City, Regina, Class A, BGM of Brooklyn in Class 8 player. It's still Newell Fonda. Others have Newell Fonda farther down the poll, but they're the defending champs, and so far so good. But they're in a tough district too, so it could be interesting. But I like to do, as we got into the season, now you can kind of see what's going on in some of the teams that are really good in the area in Central Iowa. Since we're here on KCWI doing this, I want to talk about some of the quarterbacks to keep an eye on as the season goes on. And of course, at Waukee, you've got Ben Firkin. He's one of the outstanding quarterbacks. Rocky Lombardi, the name that means football, over at West Des Moines Valley. And what's interesting, in the question mark with Dowling Catholic this year was the two-headed quarterback. They were going to go with 2 guys. They weren't sure. In fact, before the season started, there was 4 guys vying for the spot. But J.T. Brown and Kurt Walding have done a great job with that two-headed quarterback. And a lot of times that doesn't work, but it's working really well for Dowling right now.
I say they have to be happy with the results.
Yeah, they do. Of course, in Class 3A, Brady Bransfield from right down the street in Norwalk, one of the top quarterbacks in the state. And of course, Noah Clayburg, just mentioned him at Pella, one of the top athletes in the state when it comes to football. In 2A, Max Kapasnik over at North Polk and Logan Gilman at Prairie City Monroe, a couple of quarterbacks to keep an eye on. David Marinsky over at Pella Christian, and Ben Trent over at Van Meter. And in Class A, Jared Myers at Colfax Mingo. Colfax Mingo's not been a great football program, but this Myers kid is a really good player, a really good athlete, somebody to keep an eye on. And in Class 8 player, Carson Klein over at Lennox. And Lennox has a big game tonight. I put him in the rankings, and it's funny. One of the Lennox fans said, I wish you wouldn't have put the stamp on us because we were trying to stay under the radar. But they play Fremont Mills tonight in a top 10 battle in 8 players, so a big game to keep an eye on when it comes to that. A lot of times we talk about the big schools, but these small schools, especially 8 player, play a pretty good brand of football, and I think as people watch those games in the Dome, they come to enjoy that 8-player game to give those kids a chance to play on Friday night at those small schools.
All right, where's the Central Iowa Sports Network going to be focusing in on tonight?
Well, we'll be all over the place. I will be doing the Des Moines Lincoln at Ankeny Centennial game, and our kickoff starts at 7, so around 6:50. That's all you have to do is go to centraliowasportsnetwork.tv, CISN.tv, to check out where our games are this week, both the video type of games, and also I'll be just doing the audio side for the Des Moines Lincoln and Ankeny Centennial game. Again, pregame around 6:50 with my partner Ben Carroll, and then we'll be kicking it off at 7 o'clock from Ankeny football stadium, where Ankeny Hawks and the Centennial Jaguars share the field on Friday night. So this week it's Centennial's field to take over. So
that's great. Perfect. All right,
Thanks,
so
guys.
We're caught up with high school wise.
Yeah, it should be a good weekend. We're getting that. It's amazing. It seems like we just started.
Yeah,
now we're on the stretch drive.
Yeah, we're past halfway,
Yeah,
so we're going down. All right, so Comp Man, now let's turn collegiately. What do we have?
All right, well, Iowa and Iowa State both got big wins for their programs last weekend. Iowa started out 4-0, but they really didn't beat anybody of great significance. Pittsburgh is probably the best team they had played, but they had beaten Iowa State. And I'm taking nothing away from Iowa State, Illinois State, North Texas, but then they go up to Wisconsin. And we know Wisconsin is very good, and they're always good at home. 71 out of 79 games they had won at home. So when you think back the last few years, this is the measuring stick. And the Hawks go up there and gut one out, 10-6. We saw the only touchdown there of the game, Kittle with the touchdown reception. And, you know, the defense just played lights out again. And so they come away with a 10-6 victory. And I don't know how good Wisconsin is, quite honestly. They lost to Alabama. They beat 3 cupcakes at home. And so I don't know how good they are, but still it's a signature win for this program.
Right.
So now they have 2 trophies back in the case, and they play Illinois this week. Now, Illinois is off to its best start since 2001. They're at 4-1. They have Wes Lund at quarterback, used to be at Oklahoma State, transferred in. They're not going to be with the running back, Josh Ferguson. It's a better defensive team than it was last year. Last year, Illinois gave up 468 yards and 35 points a game. This year, 303 and 17.8.
Oh, wow.
So they're a better team. They've beaten Nebraska.
Yeah.
I still like the Hawks to win this game. For one thing, it's at home.
Okay.
And second of all, the Hawks are playing with a lot of confidence. So I still would have to
The Hawks will
favor.
be 5-0 after this weekend.
No, they'd be 6-0.
6-0, I'm sorry. 6-0, yeah.
So
That's okay.
they could be bowl eligible after Saturday.
They could be bowl, and they should be bowl eligible. Now, Iowa State, interesting. I was thinking about this the other day. Do you realize how close Iowa State is to being 4-0? They're 2-2 because, you know, they beat UNI. They beat Kansas last week. Kansas is terrible. I mean, you know, let's not
Yeah, they were
kid
supposed
ourselves.
to beat them, yeah.
Right, they were. But they were in that Iowa game till the last 4 minutes, and they should have beaten Toledo. If Cole Net, and I'm not picking on him, but if he makes that field goal, they win that game. So they could be 4-0.
Now, for those people that missed it, that's the one that went into overtime.
That's the one that went into double overtime, and they lost to Toledo.
And
So
that Toledo team's now ranked.
yeah.
So it's a decent team,
That's
yeah.
a good team. Good team. Now the Cyclones have to go to Texas Tech, and 2 numbers to remember: 50 and 41.
50 and 41.
Texas Tech averages 50 points per game.
Oh, that's
They've
right.
lost back-to-back games in the conference to a couple of top 5 teams. TCU, they lost on a last-second tip ball in the end zone, 55-52, and then they lost to Baylor 63-35. Okay. The other number is 41. They give up 41 points a game. So they average a lot, they score a lot, but they give up a lot. And the key is going to be for Iowa State if they can keep the ball away from them. If they can, you know, get some long drives.
Right.
Although if they end in scores, it doesn't matter if it's one play. So if the Cyclones, you know, can build on the momentum, and this is going to be a big game for them in the sense that after this game, now they start the downhill slide in the second half, where they have TCU, they have Baylor, they have Oklahoma. Now Texas will be an easier game than we thought it probably would be, but they have K-State and Oklahoma State. So this is a big game for the Cyclones. If they can somehow get this one on the road, and I remember a couple of years ago they went to Lubbock, just blew out the Red Raiders. Maybe they can do it again tomorrow.
We can only hope.
We can only hope. Drake is at home tomorrow. I'll be doing that game with Chuck Reed on 1350
All right, Drake
ESPN.
with the new Living Bulldog mascot.
That's right. That's right. And it's against Valpo. It's homecoming, 1 o'clock. Bulldogs are undefeated at home, and they haven't been able to win on the road. So, but their defense was great a couple weeks ago at home against Stetson. So they're one of the best defensive teams in their league. So they should be able to get it done. And then Northern Iowa has to go to North Dakota State.
They're
Yikes.
tough. Yeah.
Yikes.
That's a tough team, isn't it?
Yeah, they really, well, they only win the title every year.
That's it? Okay.
That's all they do,
That's
is
all
just
they
win
do.
titles. So the Bison, and you know, good luck to Northern Iowa. It's going to be a tough chore for them. It's a really uphill battle. But you know what? They beat them last year in the Dome, and 2 years ago, they should have beaten them there. I think they lost in overtime. Tony, I don't know if you remember that. They got in overtime. I think that was the time Jake Farley broke his leg.
They've played the toughest schedule at their level.
Oh, yeah.
This is their 5th ranked team, probably. I mean,
Wow.
they've played a heck of
Yeah,
a schedule.
they have.
They really have. And they've won a couple and they've lost a couple. But they might not get to the playoffs, but their schedule is definitely the reason why they won't if they don't get there.
But
So-
hopefully these games will make them better and they can get a good run going the second half of the season. But you know what? There's nothing like taking on the Giants.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not take on the big guys and then knock them off?
If you take them down, it's even a bigger feather in your cap.
And you got nothing to lose.
There it is.
So that's the way it stands. And Grandview's off this week. Woodley gets to just hang around the house and watch games.
Put his feet up and watch TV. There you go.
much, that-
Which you know he's not going to do. But anyway, we know they can catch you where? Doing the games.
ESPN 1350.
Okay.
I'll be doing the game with Chuck Reed,
All right.
the Drake Valpo
Oh, great.
game, and of course then the Thursday night show.
Perfect.
6 to 7. We think, we're not sure yet because of the schedule with the Cubs and Cardinals.
Great show,
yeah.
heck of a line. You've never seen a lineup again. Copman has the best Rolodex in sports, so he fills it every single week. And then they can listen to you where?
Well, we're going to be at Central Iowa Sports Network, CISN.TV tonight. Des Moines Lincoln and Ankeny Centennials are our game of the week. And probably enter Central Iowa. It's a top 10 matchup. Johnston at Dowling Catholic. That'll probably be the biggest game as far as 4A goes, as far as a couple of top 10 teams. We'll see if the Dragons can try to pull off some magic, but the Maroons are rolling right now, so we'll see.
We'll keep an eye on it. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.